Well, hey there, everyone. Welcome to another episode, and I am excited to be here again. I love getting a chance to talk to you, and if you're new to our show, welcome. I try to make sure that each week I kind of hit something that either pertains to our mental or physical health, or a way an amputee can better their life, or if you're dealing with something medical and it kind of all falls into the same realm. So I hope you find some of this interesting. This episode I'm calling If the Shoe Fits, because I want to talk to you about something that I noticed last week for me that I think is really important. And if you're interested in anything amputee, even if you're not one, but maybe you are around people that are, or you're just really fascinated by what our life is like, you get a chance to hear today about our shoe wear. Because surprisingly enough, what you're wearing on your foot that you have versus the foot you don't have is very important. Now, when I first became an amputee 2.5 years ago, almost three, in December it'll be 3 years, I'll tell you that what I was going to wear on my feet was not an issue or a thought in my mind. So if you are on a path where you think you might become an amputee, that you're in a position where that might be the next viable option for you so you can get back to a healthy lifestyle, or someone that is an amputee and they're really struggling with certain things, especially with their fit of their socket, and I have done episodes on that. Please listen in, because I really believe this is important. And I kind of knew that a couple years ago when I first became an amputee and I got my prosthetic. But it wasn't until last week that I noticed the true importance of it. And I decided to do a little research and to do some changes. So what I want to tell you is, even though you can't feel your foot, that shoe you're wearing, the pair of shoes you're wearing, is vitally important. When I became an amputee, let me go back a second here. If you are listening, you'll get plenty out of this conversation, but if you want to see what I'm talking about, if you go to my YouTube channel, I'm going to use this video to show you the shoes that I do have in my closet that I love and that I use. And so I have some recommendations. I am an above knee amputee, left side. And that is important because I am missing 2 joints. It makes it a little bit harder, and I have to work 4 times as hard as my normal biped friends. So I want to show you today some shoes, but I will also try to describe for those of you that are listening the importance of the ones I'm talking about and why I chose what I've chosen. So going back to when I first got my prosthetic, which I had my amputation December of 2018. By the time I was healed enough to get fitted, we are looking at now, I got my first prosthetic March of 2019. It took a couple months of being on crutches and healing. I did have a struggle with one section of my incision not healing well, and they didn't want to push it because you really don't want to be putting your leg into something and popping open anything. So I didn't get my first prosthetic or prosthesis until the end of March of 2019. And little did I know how shoes will make or break my learning to walk. It doesn't seem like it would be possible. Like, I can't feel my foot. Why does it matter what I have on there? It totally does. It changed the game for me. Some of my shoes that I had, I used to like shoes that really had some major flexibility in the sole, like the kind you can almost squish in half up from the toe to the heel upward. That was not good for stability in learning to walk. The last thing you needed to worry about is how your foot was reacting to the ground when you're dealing with how to handle a knee joint and an ankle. So I originally was on the hunt and asking people what they used for when they first got their prosthetic. And so it was really, really hard. And I will tell you that once I found this shoe that helped me feel stable, My husband went out and I swear he bought like 6 pairs, different colors, but the same pair. So I could change it up, but I'm just going to tell you, you see, for those of you looking, my hair is down. I'm not in a ponytail and a baseball cap. That is my normal look, is like my skirt, my shorts, a t-shirt, baseball cap, because I am always on the run. I'm always working out, doing things, getting sweaty. And so instead of changing to do things at one point in time and then later changing out and then getting dressed up, that's just not how I run. First off, I have to take my leg off. If I want to work out in the morning, and dress that way, and I put my leg on and I go out and like I walk or I hike or whatever, when I come back, I don't want to take my leg off, shower, do all that again, get changed, put my leg back on, start makeup, do hair. That's just not how I go. At this point in time in my life, I'm just keep it real simple. Keeping it real simple, that's who I am. So you get to see me with my hair down. I try to, when I do these podcasts, at least once a week, I try. So you have to forgive my lack of fashion sense when it comes to my shoes. They are usually hardcore, hard-hitting, can handle hikes, can handle streets, whatever. But I will tell you, my first pair that I have multiple colors in, and I will wear them till they are just dead, are my Adidas, believe it or not. Look at this one's still brand new. I still have a tag on it. I just finally trashed my red striped ones. But these Adidas, not a lot of tread, as you can see, but a really solid base, like not much heel. My ankle is a fixed 90-degree angle. So the only joint that is going to move for me is my knee. So I needed something that was stable and a solid straight sole. This was a lifesaver for me. Once I put these on and I started walking and I felt me hit a groove of feeling comfortable, confident, strong, and balanced, I told my husband these are the best, and he bought me red, blue, pink, yellow, you name it. So I have these, and as you can see, these are my brand new ones that still have not even been used. I've had these for like a year and a half. So these are awesome. Okay, Adidas. They're just a simple Adidas. They're amazing. And when they look clean like this is literally what I would go to church in. So I'd put on like a skirt and a nice top, and bam, white Adidas. So that is my shoe that I would say was a lifesaver at the very beginning, when I wasn't confident enough in my leg and how I felt in it. And I just needed something to be stable so I could focus on other aspects versus the sole of my shoe. The other shoe that does work, and I didn't grab it, but the other shoe that does work and tends to be a good one for beginners when you first get your prosthesis is Vans, the brand Vans, V-A-N-S. They tend to have a very simple, flat sole, good support, not have to worry about any, if you get something that has too much tread, you can get caught on rugs and carpets if you don't pick your foot up enough. But if you pick of your foot too much, you tend to hike your hip as well. And maybe I go up on my other toe, my good toe. And then I feel like I'm just trying to make sure I really fully clear anything I'm going over when it's not a flat surface. So Adidas and Vans were my go-to off at the beginning. And quite frankly, these, the ones I just got rid of were red ones, and they were just trashed. I mean, they were so dirty and so disgusting. And even, you could see even here, there's not a lot of tread, but the tread here, and I tread on the outside of my heels, they were, even on my prosthetic side, the outside of the heel was really worn down. It doesn't take much, and I don't know how many miles I put on them, but this is where I wanted to talk to you about, and this is why this podcast came to mind. Last week, I was really struggling. Even though I got a new socket, and it fit really well, and I started going out and trying to get my miles in and just walking around the neighborhood and just working up a sweat, pumping my blood, and getting some cardio going, I was not feeling comfortable in it. I was still hurting. My adductor was hurting bad, things like that. And that's when I decided to look down and I went, you know what? You never used to walk in these shoes. My Adidas, these were my dress shoes or my fashion shoes because I'm a gym shoe person. I'm never going to be a heel person again. So this is my dress shoe. When they're looking nice and I keep them clean, that's my dress shoe. We're going to go out for a date. The Adidas, the clean Adidas come out. You don't need to walk fast when you're on a date or going out for dinner or meeting up with somebody for a lunch or coffee. But when I worked out and when I would get out for a hardcore walk, I would put on workout shoes, just like you would do if you were a runner. You'd put on running shoes. You wouldn't be in your basic everyday shoe. You'd have specific shoes you would put on and use only for running and only putting miles on for running. So I was like, okay, maybe that will make a difference. I mean, it wouldn't hurt, right? I taught science for many, many years. And I started thinking, you know what? I've changed the one variable. My variable was a different socket. Same leg, same foot, same shoe, but different socket. But still didn't feel totally at ease with it. After trying that for a week, I decided I need to try something new. And that's when I decided I should shift what shoe I'm wearing. That might make a difference. And sure enough, I felt so much better with a shoe that would absorb the cement and the pavement outside and long-term walking, that literally the first time I put new shoes on, like running / trail shoes to get outside in, I walked over 2 miles and it was not pain-free totally, but the best I had felt in months. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And you know how long I'd been wearing my red Adidas? Before we moved. So we moved mid-June. I had been in those same shoes every day, day in, day out for every activity I did. Whether it was going shopping, whether it was meeting someone for coffee, going on a date with my husband, or going out and trying to walk 1.5 miles, 2 miles. So I tell you this because I don't want you to have to learn that lesson painfully the way I just learned it. Now, to move on to my next shoe. Here's what I have figured out that I love to wear every day because, like I said, I don't like to change. And for those of you that don't understand, changing out a shoe on a leg you can barely reach because you can't twist your leg and bring your calf up. It's not the same as your own leg. I have to try to change out my shoe from a long distance. So I don't think I can show you here because I'm sitting on one of my Bosu ball here. But if I were to try to, sorry, I've got my leg here, I wanted to show you. If I were to try to pick my leg up, you can see my leg here. Okay, that's kind of far. And so when I go to change my leg, I have to try to pull off my shoe from here. Pulling off is pretty easy. Putting a new one back on and getting your toe all the way down inside when you can't push it on the ground, now that's hard. So when I did this, I just prefer whatever I put on in the morning when my leg is off, that's what I want to wear all day. So I decided, well, I knew I was going to go for a walk. So I needed to get a shoe that not only I could do, regular daily activities and not have it so bad tread-wise that I would trip myself up, but also something I could go anywhere with and it would be okay to wear them down. I'm not going to be running a marathon anytime soon, so it doesn't matter. And then also, if I felt like going for some sort of off-road hike or something, nothing major, but if I wanted to get off-road, I wanted something that was meant to be. And I went to a shoe store and I found my Saucony brand, which is actually the brand I used to run in. And I love the way they make me feel. But these are trail shoes. So if you see the brand here, it's a Saucony Trail. And they're a little bit more, they're easier and bend on the toe, but that doesn't matter with my foot that doesn't move, the toes don't move. But the center is a little bit stiffer and the tread is so much better than the Adidas. So this, not this specific one, this was my old one. I love my husband. He actually took me out and bought me a brand new pair because these are worn down quite a bit. In the middle here, there's no tread left. because I use these so much. But he bought me a brand new pair of these Saucony trails, and it's meant for out on the pavement, but it's also for trail walking, running. And I love these. There is a little bit more give. So you can see with the Adidas, these are all leather and they're solid. These are really good for learning to walk better. These are when you really are ready to hit the trails or to get out and start really moving. So there is more movement and it feels much more natural. So I would totally recommend these if you're looking for something that's gonna get you through a day, but also if you're like me who doesn't like to have to change shoes because the foot's so far away and I'm not as limber as I used to be. And especially with a leg that does not give at all. So those are amazing. And I love my brand new ones. Those are the ones that I decided to go out in right after my husband bought them for me. I went out in them and it was my longest walk since before the summer. I would say probably my longest walk in maybe 5 months. And when I say longest walk, I also mean with the least amount of pain I've had in forever. So that was awesome. So a mix between a different shoe and my fit for my socket. Now I say this because you can try, and my prosthetist has worked on sockets for me now and worked really hard. I must have like 10 sockets in 2 years. He has given me so many sockets and because I have changed so much between drastically losing weight and then atrophy of the muscles. My socket size has changed drastically. Like the one that I'm wearing now that you see, this isn't even my newest one. My newest one he has, and he's actually painting it right now and getting the decals that I made on it. And I'm doing something a little bit different this time, and I can't wait to get it back. I'm supposed to get it tomorrow, and I cannot wait to see it because he does such a fantastic job for me. But while I'm in the interim, I'm wearing my old socket. This socket is not that old. For some reason, the way this one was made and built, one, I realized that the internal plastic cracked, which that has never happened to me. But it was literally a tiny little crack inside that would open up and squeeze and pinch my skin to the point of I had all these little ripped marks and bloody marks, like internal bloody marks. Think about pinching your skin really bad on something, and then you get that like red line because it's bleeding under the skin. That's what I was getting on my inner thigh over and over and over again. And I dealt with it for 3 weeks because I thought I could just suck it up and get through it. And then when I took it in to show him, he pulled out the plastic liner and it was cracked, and it has never done that. So, and I couldn't see that because of the hard liner. It wouldn't let me move that plastic that way. So he has that one. This one, my new one, we made some changes with that and a little bit of change because I was hitting my femur. But now that I have the new one just about totally ready and a brand new shoe, I'm so excited because I feel like I'm getting back to some normalcy, which I knock on wood because there's no such thing as normal and there's no such thing as it forever being this way. I know there'll be changes. I know things will happen. I know this. It is what it is. But you enjoy the moments when things all line up, the stars are aligned and everything feels good. You totally love those moments and take those in because they can be fleeting and you just never know what the next day will bring. So moving on. The final shoe that I have to show you is something I am so excited to have. I reached out to a company that does hiking boots. I have found that my most favorite activity is hiking. Reason being, one, walking is boring to me. I can't stand it. I don't like treadmills. I don't even like going out and walking because when you walk and you have a prosthesis on your leg, every step is exactly the same. Pretty much every step is the same. Or you try to make it as same as possible when you're still trying to learn your leg and everything. You'll have moments where you kind of waddle out or something. But when you have something's not fitting right or you just something doesn't feel right that day, every step you take is the exact same step, hitting the exact same thing. So when I was boning out and hitting my femur at the bottom of my socket, every step I took, that would hit. With hiking, every step is totally different. I'm navigating, and I may have to stretch a little bit and make a longer step. And then I may have to stutter step to get up and over a bigger rock. And we have very rocky trails here in Arizona. And so I like the adventure of hiking. I like being outdoors that way. I like going up. I like having to come down. Everything's a total challenge. Most of the time I do use hiking sticks, but when I reached out to this company and they saw that I was getting out a lot, they sent me these shoes for free. And I will tell you, these are the most kick butt hiking shoes I've ever had. It's Obo's brand out of Bozeman, Montana. Bozeman, Montana? Wyoming? Anyways, sorry guys. These things, look at the tread on these. These have the thickest soles. It is unmovable. When I hiked, and I was hiking in these, and I was doing really serious hiking, these just weren't enough. I could feel every rock through these soles. This one, I don't feel a thing. Now, that's great, so you don't bang up your one good foot. The problem is, when I first tried these on, and for those of you that don't know me, I'm extremely competitive with myself, and I got to know a trail, and I've been doing it over and over again. I always wanted to do it a little bit faster and a little cleaner. So you probably shouldn't do that when you try on a brand new shoe, especially one with heavy duty sole like this and traction. And I was hauling, and my husband was behind me the whole time, and he kind of just watches how I'm doing things. And yeah, you guessed it, I have not done this, but I bit it so hard. I time myself, so I have my pedometer thing or whatever, my tracker is going when I start my hike, and I don't, I only stop it when we actually get to the top, and I take a drink and we stop for a second, enjoy the scenery and everything. But we were heading down, and I was like on a roll, and I'm like, go, 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 go. And I didn't see the rock coming. And I always tell people, hiking around here is like hiking near icebergs, because a lot of these rocks look like little tiny rocks that you probably could just kick out of the way. But 90% of them are underground, and you try to kick one or you don't get clear it, that rock's not moving, you are. And that's what happened. I bit it. I ripped up my leg, ripped up my elbow. I was bleeding everywhere. And of course, my husband's like, wait, stop, let's get you cleaned up. And I'm like, no, we're going to get to the top. We'll clean it up at the top, because I didn't want to stop my timer. So that is the only time I've bitten it. And it was only because you get lazy. And if you get lazy or you don't see a rock, of course, there are mistakes that just happen just because that's just life. But a lot of times I find that when things like that happen, I'm looking either too far ahead, or my brain kind of wanders into some other realm, another thought or whatever. So anyways, the Obo's brand are incredible. I am so grateful to that company for sending that to me. I love them. And we are now in Arizona getting into what I call hiking weather. You can hike year round here, but because I don't like getting up and trying to get moving first thing in the morning, because I want my leg to get acclimated to my socket, I love going late morning, early afternoon to my hikes so that I can enjoy the sunshine above me. And you don't want to do that in the middle of summer when it gets to 115, because you will have heat stroke or pass out or just get sick. So I go hiking midday now, and I'm so excited. Once I get my new socket, which hopefully is tomorrow, and I have my new shoes, and I've got my Obos, I'm going to get out and I'm going to start hiking and putting my miles on that way. Keeps me in shape. It keeps my mental game sharp. And I just, I get to love life. And that's, that's what I'm here for, is I want you to be able to get out and live your best life. And are you living your best life? Sometimes it depends on the shoe, right? Now, if I decide, finally, so we have my Adidas for my everyday wear, my Saucony Trails for getting out on the pavement and just moving around the neighborhood or whatever. And then I have my Obos hiking. These are waterproof and they kick butt on major rocky trails. But I also will change out my walking leg for my running blade. And this is my running blade. It's an Autobach. It is an amazing thing, but it's a little bit on the frightening side. But I want you to know that what's really cool is because I'm an above knee amputee, this is the knee joint and it's in locked mode right here. This is the lock, if you can see that. And this just screws into my socket that's right here, my hard socket. This part obviously is the foot down here, and it's made this way so that there's some bounce and some give, and it really does, I feel like a kangaroo when I put it on. It's much lighter than the bottom of this leg, which is electronic and heavy. So when I put this one on, it's frightening how much lighter it feels, and there's been times where I've walked around all day in this, and then I go to put my C leg back on, and I feel like someone put a cement block on my foot. It's hilarious how different it is. You might see some people that are a below knee. They have their own knee joint still, and they have their prosthesis is on their shin area, their calf, and then they have a little tiny one of these blades, these curves, and they'll have a shoe on. Or you might even see someone that has this little tiny one. I don't have it. I have just a regular, I don't even know if you can see it, but I have a regular angle on my foot, or a regular ankle here. Let me show you that. See the ankle? Oh, it's kind of hard to see. But that's just, I just have, literally goes down inside there. They put a foot shell on, and it looks like a foot when my shoe and sock are off. But when I run, this is what's weird, and what's really cool is that this has its own really awesome sole of a shoe, like a gym shoe, and it is replaceable. There are screws at the bottom here where you can take this off when you've worn out the tread, and you can replace just this part of it, which is pretty darn cool. That being said, if I don't need a shoe on this, then I only need one shoe. And that really stinks because, of course, running shoes are expensive. You can spend $150 on a decent pair, but that's not even the most expensive one. And yet you're only going to use one shoe, because if you're using it for true running, you'll never just wear them out and about with your regular running or walking leg. So there are companies, if you look into them, that either will sell you a single shoe, or there are some that actually have random single shoes ready. And I reached out to Nike, and Nike sent me a really nice running shoe. I told them color scheme I liked, what type I was looking for. I was looking for like road running, my size, the side of my leg I needed it for, my right leg, and they sent it to me free. And so now I have a really good Nike running shoe that I put on when I'm wearing my running blade. So there's just these little things, these secrets that you should know about if you look them up, and you look up getting a single shoe, because sometimes when you wear things like that, you only need one shoe. And it really seems ridiculous to buy $125 worth of shoes and you only use one of them. So do some research, especially if you are someone that is an amputee and you are trying to figure out how to do that, or if you know somebody, let them in on that, because it's really kind of important. If we can save money, that makes us, fiscally responsible, and that will also make us happier too, because we didn't spend a fortune on two shoes and we watch one just sit there and do nothing in our closet. So I hope this has helped you. It is, I'm going to wrap this up here, and I always wrap up with a call to action. If you've listened at the end of every show, I do a call to action because I want this to be an interactive program. So if you are looking for something that you can do, I would say look at your shoes that you are wearing, whether you're an amputee or not. Because if you're struggling with problems with hips or knees, or pains with your prosthetic, or just hips and knees, and you're not an amputee, it could be the shoe you're wearing. Are you wearing the same shoe every day, day in and day out, like I was? and then using that to go exercise, like cardio exercise in? Or do you shift them out? Do you have other things that you can use? Like I said, I have 3 different kinds. Normal everyday wear, on the road, and on the mountains. So, and then like I said, I also have a Nike running shoe for my running blade. So my call to action would be is check out your shoes. Yes, I know that a lot of women especially want to wear heels and everything, and you can get ankles that angle, and so you can wear, because I do have some cowboy boots. Some are work boots and I don't need any changes. I found really good cowboy boots that I love that I can actually wear with the ankle I have. There is also a dress pair that has literally just about, I don't know, maybe an inch heel, maybe. And I cannot walk in them with this ankle because my knee will not lock back into place for me to step comfortably without it collapsing on me. So there are other options too. So if you really, 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 really have a pair of shoes you love that are heels and you want to go out on the night and do something fun, then you need to look with your prosthetist at a different ankle so that you can actually decide how to adjust the measurements so that you actually have almost like your foot on a tippy toe. My foot, if I take my shoe and sock off, is flat-footed. And when I walk around my house, I hit my heel and my heel shifts and my foot flaps on the ground. It's really kind of strange. But you get used to it whenever you walk around barefoot. I do that when I'm going to be outside by the pool or whatever. So I hope this helped you. I really hope you found some information that you can use. But really, in all, your health is really important. And your health can start with your shoes, because it did help me figure out why I was in so much pain. And it is now allowing me the freedom to get out and move the way I really want to move. And when I can move the way I want to move, then not only am I getting the physical activity that makes me healthy, but my mind and my emotions are in a healthy track because I'm happier, because I'm doing what I want to do, doing what I love, and doing it without a lot of pain. So, you know the drill. Do your call to action. Reach out to me if you have questions. I would love to hear from you. And as always, be healthy, be happy, be you.